Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast. Hosted by our headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs. You can find all of us here at the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Our shows, the Nerd Academy Podcast, Knights of the Nerd Republic, and Campus Life are released weekly at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, check out our Patreon where every donation helps to keep the lights on.
Hello there and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I'm your host, Jared the Dark Jedi, and wow, that was noise. We got some news for you guys this week, as well as a review of what very may well be my favorite episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. With that, we have a nice panel for you guys this week. We have the Lord Keeper, Connor Chikiti.
Hello there, everyone. Glad to be here.
We have everybody's favorite manic Sith Lord, Darth Id. And never disappoints, we have the Professor, Levi Baum.
Oboe. How's it going?
Hobo. I love that. And we have the Sentinel, Joel Basenback.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah, like I said, we have a decent amount of news for you guys this week. Lots of Disney Plus stuff, lots of movings and wheeling and dealing there. And then, obviously, this week in Clone Wars. Levi, how was your week, buddy?
I found a cover of Yellow Submarine as sung by a Buddhist priest.
What? That sounds great.
I was drinking my water and spewed it everywhere.
I will link it in the Discord.
I will not listen to that.
It's amazing.
I clicked on it
Yellow.
the second he sent it into the chat.
Submarine Buddhist monk.
That's
There it is.
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like we kind
are
of
living a yellow submarine.
Copy video URL.
Yeah.
Heist. In addition, I also got Mastery 6 on 2 other champions at League of Legends.
Hell
I
yeah.
have Mastery 7 on Teemo, now I have Mastery 6 on Thresh and Cho'Gath. We're gonna maybe get Cho'Gath up to Mastery 7, but you can't tank for stupid.
Stupid.
And that's been my problem. So,
Well, it sounds like you had an entertaining week, to say the very least. So, excellent. Connor, how was your week, buddy?
Pretty chill. Mainly just getting work done. But I ended up having just a late night discussion with What the Force, Star Wars podcast. For those that aren't aware, What the Force is basically a meta Star Wars podcast that talks about that really dives into the mythology of Star Wars. So like the Campbellian structure and everything like that. And we just ended up chatting about Star Wars mythology and seeking joy. And, unsurprisingly, MC, who runs the page, I think, is very motherly. And she basically started asking me, like, where do you seek joy? Or, like, how are you going to seek joy? And it had a very profound impact on me at 2 a.m. So much so that I ended up texting a pretty good friend of mine after that discussion, just telling her that I miss her. And I didn't expect her to answer back as quickly as she did because, well, it's 2 a.m. Who would be up at that ungodly hour besides besides us. And she just texted back like really quickly, and I was like shocked. So that
I love that for you.
That really warmed my heart.
wow.
And then started another playthrough of Fallen Order, Grandmaster, because apparently I'm a masochist, and Jared and here voted that I do Grandmaster, so you're really testing my sanity.
Listen, you are a low T beta male. Okay, if you don't, you are a beta if you do not play on Grandmaster exclusively from now on. It's that simple. It's that simple. I don't make the rules. You have to play Grandmaster.
I actually make the rules, so
no, you
I
don't.
know that one, Chief.
No, you don't. You play on Grandmaster now, Connor.
I don't know, man. Did you beat Trilla in one try on Grandmaster and was still shocked about it?
No, I didn't, but you did, so that's why you have to do it from now on.
Fair. That still shocks me to this day.
It is your cross to bear.
Other than that, that's about it.
I'm here for it. Mike, how was your week, buddy?
It's been magical, still working, still trying to do college stuff too, slowly losing the will to do my assignments, but I'm still pushing through it, Yeah.
Same.
What do you call it? My mom was on some sort of like online thing for some Relay for Life or something, and some guy hacked the server and started drawing swastikas and shouting, "I am from Ukraine! I am from Ukraine!" So then they had to exit it really quickly.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Wow.
I'm from Ukraine! It was on the screen.
Dude, that reminds me, actually, my sisters, their one of their classes got Zoom bombed, and people just started shouting like curse words left and right. So they had to just get out of Dodge and do it and restart.
Beautiful. That's hilarious. Later, I gave Dune a second chance. Chalamet, Oscar Isaac kind of reignited me. Shit again. Like, I watched it the first time when I was like a teenager, and I thought it was idiotic. I hated it. I thought it was stupid. But then I gave it another chance, and it is very fascinating. I think, it's like hilarious. Toto does the score, and Sting starred in the movie. Like, and there's just a really beautiful quote in there, like, that which is sleeping must awaken. And I've also been having weird dreams. I had a dream about, I had a dream, I saw it, I keep seeing the Titanic sinking. It keeps sinking, like, but it also, like.
God, of course you are.
There'll be Jack, there'll be Rose, there's the two lovers. I don't know what it means. I don't know. But, I always feel this, like, melancholic feeling when it's around. But it's really powerful.
Can't imagine why.
I mean, I was born on the anniversary of the sinking, so like I have a connection with that boat.
Holy crap!
Mike, what if one of your past lives you were on the Titanic?
That's probably it. I was probably some third class, like freaking, petty criminal who snuck on board, and then he was trapped in a bathroom on like E deck, and he bought it. In
that case, if we're going with past lives, I was probably some random Union soldier at Petersburg.
But yes, Connor used to be in the Union, and Mike was aboard the Titanic. Fun fact about the Titanic, and Mike, if you were on the Titanic, I am convinced that this is where you would have been. I read this thing recently about the head chef aboard the Titanic, and whenever they hit the iceberg, this gentleman started throwing chairs overboard.
Oh, right, yeah, so people would have stuff to cling.
Yeah, so they would have stuff to cling on to, but while he was doing it, this man was chugging a comical amount of alcohol.
Oh my god.
Oh, right, yeah, so when he went, he didn't feel anything and was able to survive for like hours.
Yeah, because there was too much alcohol in his blood and he couldn't
die of
freeze.
hypothermia.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it. I need to try it.
I don't think you need to try drinking so much that your blood is that warm.
Yeah,
but
don't do that.
I mean, it's happened before, probably, but who knows? I don't know.
You're a mad lad. Joel, how was your week, buddy?
My week was interesting. I've done a lot of things over the last week, and all of which include slightly going insane, but we're all right. So I started off by I've been heading out to my Nana's every once in a while, and no, I'm not going near her. I'm staying outside. She has a balcony kind of thing for her porch. It's the main floor is the basement is ground level, if that makes sense. So it's up higher. Anyway, so I'll sit down, and she lives in the woods, so I just hit golf balls with my father a bunch. So we've been going out. So I've been working on my golf stuff while we're in quarantine, so that as soon as it's over, I can get right out there and start playing again, because I miss it. I miss a lot of things. But besides that, I went through all 8 movies of Harry Potter in the last 3 days. And I waited to tell you guys about this because I was literally so sad. I started weeping. Okay, now I forget which episode Dobby comes in. Right?
That's 2.
Is it? Okay, so
no.
As soon as that, every single time I watch that movie, I hate Dobby. I despise him. He irritates me on a new level.
Oh my goodness.
Dobby is a free elf.
And then we get to 7, and my heart,
and that little stupid bastard buys
breaks.
it.
My heart just absolutely breaks. And I started crying while watching it. And then last night I watched the last one. And I realized that I have so much more investment in Harry Potter than I had originally anticipated. I'm so invested in the storyline. And I mentioned this on another episode, so if you follow me enough, that I've been reading Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in Spanish. And so now I also happen to have a whole bookshelf of all the books I've read. And in there includes all the Harry Potter books, but I've never read them. So I really need to read them because I've anticipated reading them, and I know how much more information there is about the storyline and how invested I already am about the storyline and the characters, and I just need more. I need more.
All of that to say, Joel, you should really be cosplaying Newt Scamander.
Yes.
You think?
I really think. I think you have big Newt energy. That belongs on a shirt. That belongs on a shirt. Big Newt energy.
And Joel's the only
New
person
name
that needs to wear it.
Yes.
New name in the chat, in the staff chat.
Yeah.
Sick.
I unironically love Newt Scamander as a character.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, as those movies are.
Yeah, those movies are aggressively
But goddamn, he's such a
They're
fantastic.
saved by really good performances. That's the thing. And that's what makes them hard to judge. Kind of like The Rise of Skywalker. Like, everybody is giving it their all so hard.
Oh, yeah.
That it's, like, really hard to, like, not be engaged because of the performances, at least for me. But,
yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, my week was less than eventful. I
Oof.
honestly can't think of anything I really did aside from making a TikTok with my brother last night. That's it. I had some bonding time with Logan, and that was fun.
Did you sent that in the chat, right?
No, not the one he and I made. No, not yet. I'll send
You should do that for the sake of everybody
For the
here.
sake of
Logan's
everyone.
on YouTube.
Oh, he is now.
Okay, I did not know that.
Also, are we recording right now?
Yes. Because slice of life. But yeah, moving from that, like I said, not a whole lot going on with me. We are going to jump into the news this week because we do actually have some stuff to talk about. A couple weeks in a row of actual news. What is this nonsense?
I know, right?
So we have some casting news for the Cassian Andor series, and we have a couple bits of news actually for Cassian. Guinevere O'Reilly and Denise Go have joined the cast of the as of yet untitled Cassian Andor spinoff show on Disney Plus. We don't know who Go is going to be playing. However, Genevieve O'Reilly is the lady who played Mon Mothma in both the deleted scenes for Revenge of the Sith, as well as Mothma in Revenge of the Sith, or in Rogue One, rather. So, I don't think that's a surprise that we'll be seeing Mon Mothma in Rebel, or goddamn, she was in Rebels, so therefore she would
Fake
be.
fan.
Yeah, fake fan. I'm a casual. Connor. I lay a judgment before Connor Chikiti. But
And now you're a Griffin casual.
I am a casual. I hate it. But yeah, so Mon Mothma's coming to the Cassian Andor show. I am excited by that. Mon Mothma's always been one of those characters who, like, I just like when she shows up and stuff. I just like the connective tissue of characters like her and like Bail Organa. Just seeing them makes me happy, and I don't quite know why.
Yeah, especially Bale. When I saw him in Rogue One, I was pleased.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, Bale's pretty cool.
I wonder if Jimmy Smits is going to be
appreciate him
brought
as a
up.
character. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why. I just do. There are a lot of Star Wars characters that like everybody loves, and I'm just kind of like, I really underappreciate them.
Yeah, they're just characters who just the idea of them is fun. Like,
yeah.
But speaking of Bail Organa, with this casting, I'm very curious as to whether or not they're going to try to bring Jimmy Smits onto this.
I would not. I mean, I think they'd have to.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, if Mon Mothma's there, I'd be surprised if Bail Organa isn't. But yeah, cool news on that front with the casting there. And we also have official announcement that Tony Gilroy is taking over as the showrunner for Cassian Andor. This is from,
But the other showrunner is still writing.
yeah. So I was directly from this Collider article, as reported by the Hollywood Reporter, O'Reilly's coming back as Mon Mothma. Which we already know, and the most interesting part of this, as it says in the Collider article, is that the Oscar-nominated writer and director Tony Gilroy will be taking over as showrunner. Gilroy received the Best Screenplay and Best Director nominations for Michael Clayton, and he also co-wrote Rogue One in the first place. He was one of the people who were brought on for a lot of the reshoots and them kind of revamping the movie.
I think especially the third act.
Yeah. A lot of the third act has Gilroy's hands in it. So this excites me.
Man.
So I'm glad that they're bringing somebody in who is very familiar with Rogue One at this point.
Yeah.
I know that there's always been that like weird fan debate as to whether or not you should be exclusively hiring like hardcore Star Wars fans to make Star Wars content. And
I'm
I
in the middle on that.
And
like it helps, but at the same time, you get people like JJ. I don't want to say it. I love the man. I love his work, but
well, here's the thing though. Like Tony Gilroy has publicly said he's not that into Star Wars.
I know.
And the fact that
that's the thing I love the most is he's just like, I just don't watch it. I just don't like it, and yet he made
some of the stuff
with Rogue One.
Yeah, and when it's something
I don't know. I think that helps too.
Oh, I think it does. I think there's something interesting to be said for this,
like
dynamic.
That sort of outside looking in perspective.
Yeah, he's not.
And it just
he's
sort
not
of helps.
married
Like you're
to the
not really
material.
caring about, oh, what about this character or this character? You're just trying to make a good movie.
Yeah, and I think that a little bit of that detachment is good, especially knowing that the Cassian show is meant to be this spy thriller, essentially. I think that it is wise to have somebody who is not going to be incredibly married to the idea of Star Wars so much as just it's a setting. that is going to tell this.
And we got the
spy
Lucasfilm story
inside of-
group, so
Yeah. Just cool stuff.
yep.
Very much looking forward to how all of this shakes out. Sorry, I was responding to the Discord. But yeah, good stuff. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to gnaw on with this story. Everything kind of is what it is with that one. And then I think this would be the biggest story to come out of this week. Star Wars series from Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland in the works at Disney+. This is an exclusive from Variety. A new Star Wars series is in the works at Disney+. Variety has learned from sources that Leslie Hyland, the co-creator and showrunner of Russian Doll, is going to be at the helm. Details for the exact plot of the series are being kept under wraps, but sources say it will be a female-centric story that takes place in a different part of the Star Wars timeline than the other projects. Headland is said to be attached to write and serve as showrunner on the series, with the show currently staffing. Reps for Disney and Headland did not respond to Variety's request for comment. So yeah, this is really interesting. Russian Doll is a very popular show right now.
I need to watch that.
What's it about? Is it about a Russian doll?
Yes, the show is just an hour every week of just a Russian doll being opened up on camera. Here.
Yeah.
Let's read the... it's a comedy drama about Nadia, a young woman who is on a journey to be the guest of honor at a party in New York City, but she gets caught in a mysterious loop as she repeatedly attends the same event and dies at the end each night, only to awaken the next day unharmed as if nothing had happened. In addition to starring Natasha Lyonne, it also has Amy Poehler there as a writer and director, and it is a Netflix series. So
that's also an anime.
Yeah, I need to watch.
Curious as to which came out first. It's also Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I've always liked the time loop storyline. I like that kind of like cosmic horror.
Oh, you should watch ReZero then. That's the anime.
Oh, duly noted. But yeah, this is very exciting stuff. With all the rumors that have been circling around Ahsoka Tano showing up in The Mandalorian,
Yep.
and the rumors that her appearance in The Mandalorian is meant to be a backdoor pilot for a show about Ahsoka, I would not be surprised if the Ahsoka rumors prove to be true, and this is what she's working on.
Yeah, that'd be cool, I think.
Especially with that specific nugget that it's going to be like a female-led cast.
I love that people are freaking out about it. I don't know why.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, everyone's thinking that, like, that's what Lucasfilm said. And it's like, no, that's what Variety said. That doesn't mean Lucasfilm would put that in their press release. They probably wouldn't. But, like, that's what Variety said, and that's what they're going with. I don't know why people are, blaming Lucasfilm for that when it probably wasn't even their call per se. I don't know.
I just don't understand the mindset of getting angry over this sort of thing.
Dude, I don't get it either.
Almost every other Star Wars story pre-Disney, almost every single main character is a guy. Like the amount of
we have a host of female characters that are dope.
Yeah.
But just like, and when it said female-led cast, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because you reacted to it like a normal person,
Yeah.
You didn't. I just think the faux outrage about this kind of thing is hilarious. I think it's awesome that, again, there's always the debate about a lack of female directors. The Oscars conversation
that I
always
can
comes
agree
up.
with.
Where I Travis and I make this joke on the Nerd Academy a couple times. That the fictional character of the Joker, has more Oscar nominations than any woman in the Best Director category. Just the breakdown mathematically there, that there's not as much representation on that front. and that there are amazing, women out there who are making incredible films that aren't necessarily getting the
Deborah
recognition.
Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow.
Olivia Wilde.
Yeah. So I think this is really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy with the amount of Star Wars content that we have coming down the pipeline.
Agreed. I just wonder how much we don't know about yet.
Oh yeah,
that always intrigues me.
Hey, that was the case with The Mandalorian. We all went in expecting some Western gunslinger drama, and then we got this story about fatherhood and family that I don't think any of us were prepared for.
Nope. I need to rewatch
I didn't want it either.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
Levi, what are you hoping this show centers around?
I hope it's not about Ahsoka.
Yeah?
I agree with that.
Ahsoka's my favorite Clone Wars character, maybe tied with Maul. And I
Maul,
just don't
baby.
want them to milk her for
Yeah,
everything. Because
I'm
I've
kinda
seen
with
that
you on-
with other characters, not essentially in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I love Ahsoka. She is one of my top 5 characters easily. But we don't need to see her in everything, quite honestly.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to just branch out, maybe introduce new characters. I've heard other fans saying like, oh, what if it's Dr. Aphra? That I'd find it cool but weird considering she already has like 2 comics dedicated to her.
Yeah,
with the third one I think coming out.
I think if you do Aphra, you're getting into an issue where like you're running out of story to tell. Not necessarily that Aphra isn't rich. It couldn't be rich with stories. Just space Indiana Jones essentially is her beat. So there's plenty to do with that. However, I think that.
But most of it's been already told in the comics, so it just wouldn't. To me, like I like the idea of an Aphra show, but like at the same time, it just doesn't make sense that they would do it because of the fact that she has had 2 comics with a third coming out of storytelling in her already.
Yeah, we have no idea what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which I kind of like.
Me too.
I kind of
Like,
agree with a bunch of my friend Twitter mutuals on. Is this like this whole secrecy thing with Lucasfilm? That just like they don't really divulge plot details until like I don't know, maybe a few months after. I don't know. I like agree with that. I don't mind it per se, but like I agree with what my friends are saying. Because it'd definitely be nice to know when, where, and who this show is about.
Yeah, and again, I like the mystery there. Whenever stuff like this is announced.
Yeah, I'm pretty much I'm like both ends, open ended.
Yeah, we have no idea what era even it is.
Yeah, which
maybe
for all we know, it could be High Republic.
Yeah, that's what that's what some people are saying. I'm also thinking maybe. Now this would be I don't know if that would be off limits, like maybe post sequel trilogy.
I don't want any post sequel content quite yet. I think it's too early to touch that.
Yeah, no, that's
I'd be curious. I wonder what that'd look like though. How long after that it'll be?
That's true. But yeah, I'm thinking if I had to let's make a quick guess. If you had to guess what era this would be, what would be like your best guess? For me, I don't know, like high/Old Republic maybe. I don't know.
And that's the thing is like I'm hesitant to hazard a guess at that point.
Yeah.
The only reason I take a stab at the whole Ahsoka thing is because those rumors have been floating around for so long about them trying to work her into her own show. But again, that's rampant speculation, and I don't want to take too many big swings here because the details are so scant. But Mike, you have any further thoughts on that?
Yeah, I guess it could be really anything. I haven't really thought about it much. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I think covered in the Dark Times period. obviously you can't do Clone Wars, so maybe it's going to be like High Republic. Maybe that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
Or maybe like between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
You know what I really wouldn't mind.
I just remembered about that era.
What I really wouldn't mind personally, just thinking about it, is I would not be upset with something getting into the time between Jedi and The Force Awakens.
That too.
Just because
yeah,
we haven't
that's
seen
a
a
pretty
whole
big
lot.
gap. That's an even larger gap than the Dark Times.
I mean, yeah, because Dark Times is 19 years.
35
that
years
is 30
to play with.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be opposed.
Isn't that the Mandalorian?
I mean,
That'd just be. We need to see some stuff of like Luke running around the galaxy looking for Jedi stuff.
that'd
be neat.
Not necessarily that story, but that time period. Like, yeah, Levi. Like,
I'd love to
Return
see
of the
that
Jedi.
story though. That would be fascinating.
No, me too. I think that would be best served
Give
as
some
like a
Luke.
comic or something though, or like a novel. But I would like to see like so just something showing us more about like how the Republic is functioning. So it gives us a better idea as to what like the political nature of the galaxy is by the time of the sequels, because that's never been super clear at all.
Wendig's given us a start.
Yeah,
Some of it.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm happy. for
Wendig
that.
stuff
I need to
is
I
canon.
need to reread Aftermath.
yeah. Oh,
I really
No, you don't.
the only
Yeah, I do.
real. The only real sort like bits that we've gotten with regards to the body politic of the galaxy by the time of the sequels is a little bit of Aftermath, and then
There's like anti-militaristic people and there's
and then
pro-militaristic
Bloodline.
people
Yeah, and then
in the
Bloodlines,
Republic. And
So-
then the what?
and then in Star Wars Bloodlines, where we
Yeah,
get a little bit
Bloodline.
of,
Yeah, Bloodline really fleshes out the political side of the galaxy.
But do they ever go into detail about that weird cult of Darkseid who were like
Acolytes of the
Vader
Beyond?
fanboys?
no,
No,
they do
No.
not.
they
'Cause
should.
they can't. They popped up in the Aftermath, but they.
Yeah.
I don't.
They're
remember
pretty.
them.
Ooh, I want to know more about them.
Maybe they became the Sith Eternal cult or whatever. Some of them.
They probably
wound up
did.
there.
It
Yeah, they
wouldn't
were probably
honestly
a part of
surprise me
it.
if they did.
They're probably
Yeah.
a part of it.
'Cause
But yeah.
They seem crazy enough to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, marking down the time there. Moving right along, like I said, almost every story here is something to do with a Disney Plus show. Apparently, season 3 of The Mandalorian is already being worked on. Another exclusive from Variety. Like I said, the story is very matter of fact.
More time.
There's not a whole lot we can gnaw on for this. The October premiere date for Season 2 of The Mandalorian may still feel like it's far, far away, but pre-production has already begun on a third installment of the wildly popular Disney Plus series. Sources close to the production have confirmed that creator Jon Favreau has been writing Season 3 for a while, and that the art development led by Lucasfilm Vice President and Executive Creator Doug Chang has been creating concepts for Season 3 for the past few weeks. In addition, another source with knowledge of the situation confirmed that the production designs department began working on Season 3 on April 20th, pointing to the fact that the department requires...
420.
Yeah. But pointing to the fact that they need such a huge lead time to explain why the gears have started grinding really early on. News for Season 3 in the works comes just a month after production wrapped on Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and was lucky as most shows managed to round off production in early March, just before the coronavirus shelter-in-place orders came into effect. So it looks like we're probably still going to be getting Season 2 of The Mandalorian on time, because they got like right in under the wire there.
Thank God.
So
Thank God.
That's good.
Wow, maybe we'll see some. Never mind.
I wonder what the kid's name is.
We're gonna find out. And,
It's probably
legit,
like something
no,
stupid
'cause
like
here's
Lloyd.
the thing with that. I'm so happy you pointed that out, Mike, because 99% of the general population is still going to refer to it as Baby Yoda, and me being the contrarian Star Wars fan that I am, general public knowledge, I'm just
Could
going to
go
start
F
referring to it
itself.
as its name, and people are going to be really confused and be like, you shouldn't be, but okay.
Not gonna lie, I want to see this boy use more dark side powers. I want to see him struggle with hatred and
Give me a
fear.
mix of both, baby. Give me that balance.
Give me that. Yeah, give me struggle, I guess. I don't know. Because, we don't want to stereotype that these little green bastards are just naturally calm. That was just really fascinating to see.
Dude, the fact when he first starts freaking choking out Cara Dune, I got like
that's creativity. That's sorry, yeah.
And then when he uses the friggin' and then when he like shields the Mando from the flame trooper.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep.
Well, and I think that's something interesting with the nature of the child is that, you're dealing with a very small kid, even though he's 50 years old, 50-year-old baby. But there's something really beautiful to the idea that,
like, he's a kid, but he's struggling with his powers, much like how we all struggled with our
our own powers.
As kids,
and
our powers being completely different.
I think this is the first time we're really seeing somebody who can touch the Force, who has not had that, like, the emotional training. Even with the Sith, there is some amount of emotional training where, like, you're taught that you're meant to call on those feelings of passion and anger and hatred and all of those things, and
utilize the Force as a powerful tool for your own ends.
Yeah, and with the Jedi, obviously, there's all of the
don't do that.
Yeah. To quote Frozen,
Force huggers.
Yeah, Force huggers. Very concealed. Don't
huggers.
Feel. Huggers. Oh, okay. I misunderstood you.
Sith are Force hoggers. Jedi are Force huggers.
I could use a Force hug.
Hippies.
I could use a Force hug from all you guys. I miss you all.
We all could.
But so
I'm quoting you that. I'm quoting you on that, Levi.
What?
Forget it.
The Force huggers.
Force huggers.
That should be the quote of the day.
Yeah,
they're like self-righteous hippies from the 70s, but with the Force.
Well, yeah, and the PT at least. So.
That should be the quote. I could use a Force hug about now.
But I do like this idea with the child that, like, we're seeing somebody who's just having that natural. Obviously, he's not human as far as species goes, but like there's natural human emotions where, like, the person who is taking care of him is in danger, so he reaches out with the Force to try to protect them. And
right.
When he, like, lifts up the Mudhorn, and he's like, "Oh, Cara Dune's gonna hurt my friend? No, fuck that!" And he starts choking her. And even though we see him act in aggression before, he sees Grief Karga's in trouble, so he has that moment where he goes, "Oh, you're hurt. You have a boo-boo. Let me make your boo-boo feel better." Where it's this very, the Yoda quote, "Beautiful the mind of a child is," where, like, that you're just seeing that natural, like, no, stay away from my friend. Oh, I'm sorry you got hurt.
I bet Yoda's the father.
You do think Yoda's the father?
Yes. But so. Yaddle's the mom. He didn't want to pay. Didn't want to pay child support. Didn't want to do any of that. Didn't want to be involved. He's deadbeat dad. Yoda is the father. Yeah, Yoda's the father.
Oh, I can hear the Phantom Menace crying out in agony right now just from you saying that.
You know what? I'm cool. You know what?
Let them. Their cries will love me just.
I love that. The cries.
Wait, what'd you say, Mike?
He said the cries of the Phantom Menace will lull him to sleep. Which
That's fair. Let him suffer.
I support that. But yeah, Joel, any thoughts on season 3 of the Mando?
Just cannot wait. I am just so excited. That's really all. I don't want to think of what will happen. I don't want to think about any technicalities of it all. I just want to enjoy it, and I cannot wait to do so.
Amen. With that, we
sounded kind of funky there.
Yeah, you
what
did.
Happened?
Well,
good conversation.
Yes, indeed. With that, we're going to move into our last bit of news here today. We are getting, in the same vein as Dooku Jedi Lost, we are getting a Dr. Aphra audio drama. Return to form for Star Wars content, as we got a lot of these back in the old days. Marvel Comics' original Star Wars character Dr. Aphra will star in a new original audio drama this summer. Per StarWars.com, a Dr. Aphra audio book original is set to arrive this July from author Sarah Kuhn. The audio drama follows the morally ambiguous archaeologist on an expanded version of her initial introduction in Marvel's Darth Vader. The audio book will feature a full cast, including familiar characters like Aphra's trusty murder droids, in addition to brand new scenes. Created by writer Karen Gillan and artist Salvador LaRocca, Dr. Aphra made her first appearance in 2015 Star Wars Darth Vader Issue 3, and is kind of, like we said earlier, like a dark side version of Indiana Jones, to aid in his endeavors between A New Hope and Empire. After falling out of favor with Vader and faking her own death, Aphra went on to star in her very own Marvel Comics series. So yeah, Aphra is one of the characters in the newer canon that have kind of risen to the top as fan favorites in the new lore. And I can't blame anybody for that being the case. You know, she's very interesting, very fun. You know, like we've all been saying, the very dark twist on the Indiana Jones archetype. So yeah, this is fun stuff. Dooku Jedi Lost was phenomenal. I don't know if any of you guys ever listened to that.
I need to read it.
It's good. It's really good.
I'm so behind on everything.
It's fun getting inside of Count Dooku's head.
I bet.
And getting to see him kind of fall out of love with the Jedi. To anybody who does plan on listening to Dooku Jedi Lost, I will recommend that you listen to Master and Apprentice, or read Master and Apprentice. I like audiobooks, especially Star Wars ones. But I would recommend you go Master and Apprentice into Dooku Jedi Lost, because they tie into each other really well. Dooku Jedi Lost is very much a good companion piece to Master and Apprentice, because a lot of the characters do pop up back and forth. You know, there's a couple Dooku scenes in Master and Apprentice. Dooku's other apprentice at one point, a Jedi named Rael Avaros, shows up in both. So if you go into Dooku Jedi Lost already knowing about Rael from Master and Apprentice, those scenes make a little bit more sense. But yeah, I'm very excited for Dr. Aphra. Fun stories and a fun character.
I don't know who these people are.
You've probably seen images of Aphra. Here, I'll send the picture into the TNAP chat so you can see whom we're talking about. She's got like the jacket. She kind of has like the she wears a helmet that's kind of like the thing that Anakin wears during the pod race. Like I said, if you see her, you might recognize who I'm talking about. But yeah, it's cool stuff. With that,
she's the one who talks smart to Vader and then gets hunted down.
Yeah, a not wise decision to pop off the Darth Vader. But with that, we are going to hop in to the Clone Wars this week. And my God.
Dope.
My God.
Yeah.
Words cannot describe how exciting the episode was.
This episode was basically Star Wars porn.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
It really felt, not to sound weird, but this truly, like when Anakin was doing his thing, and just the moment whenever all the ARC troopers started flying from under the bridge, that just, I'm like, I thought this is Star Wars. This is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
That was kind of like...
If that makes any sense.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
makes
it's like
sense.
what we were
That's
talking
what
about.
someone, yeah.
It's not like what we were talking about with the Bombad cast last week with like the whole like the DNA of Star Wars, that high adventure and everything.
Yeah, and it's just nice to see. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's all obsessed now with like complicatedness, with good and evil being all mixed up. But I think there are many. I think we shouldn't let HBO guide our morality too much, because I think life is a lot worse than what it's in HBO, but life is also a lot better than HBO. And it's nice to see that just, you know, there are indeed things that are just black and white, I think, sometimes in life, and Star Wars can... But even then, there's all this gray in Star Wars, too. People who say that Star Wars isn't gray are fools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the roots of Star Wars are very much rooted in that fairy tale style, like, you know, Palpatine is comedically evil to a point. And I think this arc of Clone Wars is walking that line very well. It doesn't stray too much into the bad guy has a point territory, because Darth Maul's right. Like, he's right about everything that he's saying. He knows what Palpatine's plan is.
So was Dooku.
Yeah, so was Dooku. All of them were sold a lie, and because of that are made far more complex and made more interesting characters because of it. But yeah, I do want to get in the weeds about this episode. Levi, your thoughts?
It was amazing. This is what the final season of a beloved show should be like. Just action-packed, actual story that matters.
Yeah.
Screw the Bad Batch, dude. Give me more of this. I don't know. Screw Rafa and Trace. Give me more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was? I don't know. Kind of like looking back already. Like what? I don't know. I guess they had a point, but it seems kind of distant now, given what these 2 episodes were.
It was not a 4-episode point.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Levi. I would not be opposed to, like, if somebody reworked this season into keeping the Ahsoka's walkabout stuff. I would not have an issue with keeping it, but I think if you very much abbreviate it, that, and I like, especially with how great these 2 episodes have been, and what I'm sure the next 2 episodes are going to be, I would not by any means be opposed to the idea of like an extra 2 episodes of the Siege of Mandalore at that point. Especially with everything going on, and it would give us more time to see like what's happening back on Coruscant, not necessarily like shit we saw in the movie, but to see just the in between the scenes of the Jedi, like something is wrong here, like something is about to go down, and they're aware of it. Like they're slowly figuring things out. And last night, our all mutual friend, I was watching the latest 2 episodes with Lexi last night.
Desk buddy on a call, and like it dawned on me how much I wish I could have watched all these episodes with you guys, because I feel like we would have just done like a little watch party for this, especially with how crazy these episodes have been. But like seeing her reactions, already knowing everything that happened, was just so crazy. And just like every few minutes, like she just kept like, they were so close. They almost figured him out. They came so
I hate
close.
that. I literally hate that.
And I like the idea that they did come this close. I like the fact that we can lay the Jedi were blind to everything going on right in front of them argument. Because while, yes, they weren't able to prevent it, they clearly were aware of the fact that something wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Shows you how much they've fallen. They allowed their like principles to be extremely clouded by political and military necessities, so called.
Yeah, and
agreed.
It speaks volumes about Palpatine's ability to engineer this situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to get into like the details of the episode after everybody speaks their piece on it. Mike,
So I just learned something's happening in about 2 hours. I got a boogie soon, so can I just finish all of my thoughts and then?
Yes, of course.
Hop off. All right. So by far the highlight of this episode for me is Maul, and just how he acts. Sarcastic Maul is the best thing that Dave Filoni has ever done with his life.
That's a high bar.
He was born to add this to the canon.
I agree. I think I Maul, between what we see of him in Rebels and then just these 2 episodes alone, this one especially, Maul has shot into my top 5 characters.
He might shoot into my top 10.
Oh, go ahead. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love when he's like, no, Mandalorian, die well.
Yeah.
I love him.
Oh,
that was
God,
great.
I literally never stopped cheering for him the entire episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I want him to win. I kind of want him to kill Anakin Skywalker.
Well, I wanted Ahsoka to go with him.
Me too.
Yeah,
Same.
I was
like,
shocked by the fact that she was like, "I'll work with you." Like I was not expecting.
I mean,
that.
okay, no, I was, but 99% of my mutuals on Twitter were like, she's gonna say she's gonna join him.
I was just,
but just that threw me for a loop.
Oh, it was such a good episode.
I agree. Yeah.
Saxon. I like how there's a Mandalorian named Saxon.
Well, he shows up.
That
in
was
Rebels.
neat.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was very sweet.
He's one of the secondary baddies in Rebels, which is cool because Saxon ends up becoming part of like the Empire's Mandalorian super commandos. So like,
cool.
So like knowing that, like again, like this is just another person who got sucked into Palpatine's web. Mm-hmm. That just got lost in the shuffle and ended up becoming a cog in a machine of just chaos and carnage, which is unfortunate in a lot of cases with these guys that they end up drawing a very short straw and becoming a part of this terrible regime.
Who was flying Maul's ship?
I think that
don't know.
Was that the scimitar?
I couldn't tell just as we only see it from the bottom.
I was hoping it was a scimitar.
I because it was a female voice, I think it was Rook, like the one Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think the one that's with him whenever he's like force interrogating Jesse. So I would hazard a guess that was Rook.
And the last thing I'll talk about is the fighting between him and Ahsoka. Wonderful, magnificently done. Maul has mastered the art of the colorful stick that you can only hold in the middle, and it shows. And I think he was never really going all out because he wanted Ahsoka's help. So I think that's why he was able to be captured.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But it was wonderful. And then just his panic as everything starts to fall apart because he knows what's going to happen. He knows what's happening.
The chills I got. It's like whenever he started to fall and Ahsoka caught him, he's like, "Let me die."
Oh my!
You won't burn.
Yeah.
You won't burn.
Yeah.
That was disturbing.
You don't know what you don't know. Oh, just.
He knows. He's like I don't want. He's like I either want to be like in the eye of the storm, or I do not want to be in the storm. Like he's like I don't want to be here for this. This is not going to end well for anybody.
Yep.
And I absolutely
knew that he was at peace with it.
Yeah,
which is kind of like nice.
But yeah.
So, yeah, and then this adds to their dynamic in Rebels.
Absolutely.
Which I like.
Yeah, very much so.
Because Maul is easily the best part of Rebels for me. Not counting Thrawn.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, we all have a little bit of a soft spot for Daddy Thrawn.
Yeah, he is
Connor.
Daddy.
Shut up, Connor. He's Daddy.
That's all I'll say.
Connor, you don't get
Thrawn
race.
feels like he should be in Star Trek instead of Star Wars.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Very for Kirk and Picard. Yeah, it's a good observation.
So maybe that's like a nod to maybe Star Trek is better.
Star Wars.
If the best
Never
Star
utter that
Wars,
heresy ever again.
If the best
if
Star
you do,
Wars
you're out.
is if the best Star Wars character belongs in Star Trek.
I don't know if Kylo Ren would fit into Star Trek that well.
Kylo would definitely not fit.
Kylo would be one of those.
Kylo
He'd be a red shirt.
Is not the best
I can
character.
just see him being a red shirt. Like, we have to check out this planet. Give me my tricorder now. And gets killed
I know.
by the monster on the planet.
I was just trying
10
to
minutes after landing. Give me the tricorder. No.
Levi, real quick before you do leave, talking about the dueling in the big battle here. I know that we talked about how we weren't sure how much of Ray Park's performance would have been implemented into the fight. They clearly used a lot of it.
Yeah.
from the way he was moving. My absolute favorite moment of the duel, and at this point I've seen the episode like 3 or 4 times, is whenever he disarms Ahsoka of like her main blade and she's just left with the Shoto. When he runs up on her and does that like double hop overhead strike, like that is not like that is Ray Park just doing Muay Thai. That is not like, you know, like the Star Warsy, like, ooh, and I'm going to like swing the saber all around my body because it looks cool as shit, because it does look cool as shit. But like the way he's fighting is so clearly they told Ray, like, just riff, just fight, like actually fight, like you are in, like your life is in danger. And I just that little bit right there, was something that like it's moves like that you can't animate. Just going off of just like character models inside of a computer program. And there are some amazing fights in Clone Wars that, you know, maybe don't necessarily work in live action. I would say that whenever Sidious fights Savage and Darth Maul, that fight, the way that they move is something that I don't think you can necessarily translate to live action.
Animation is the superior medium anyway.
Yeah, and
because you can just do much more.
Yeah, you can do much more, but I think with the specificity of like trying to animate a sword fight, that like there is something that feels a lot more raw and human with this mocap performance.
Yeah,
where you can sneak in little nuances, like again, like, and I keep coming back to that specific move, but that's just something I don't think somebody would on their own animate. Like it requires somebody doing that action. That's like, oh, of course he would do that.
The hopping on the beams.
Yeah.
Oh my dude, that was my favorite aspect of that.
That was cool too.
By far. Holy crap.
Catching balance.
Oh, it's so good. I don't even necessarily like the fights that become like an obstacle course that much. Like that's one of the things that I'm not super into with the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. As good as that fight is like when it turns into like them just like it just turns into Jedi Ninja Warrior.
Jungle Gym at Idlewild.
Yeah, where they're just like where they're just back.
Climb up the net. That net's scary.
I love that net. God, I love that net.
When I was young, I was so terrified of that net.
It is
scary because you're not there to anything like you're like I don't think I ever felt back. You know what? This is done. We're gonna free fall.
What?
22 year.
But yeah, Levi, do you have anything else? Because I don't want to keep.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't want to.
Do I have anything else?
Yeah, I don't want to keep you too long if you have to boogie.
I think that's it.
Awesome.
There is some news that you should include on TNAP on Monday, but I can send that in the chat.
I think I know what story you're talking about, actually.
Oh yeah, what story am I talking about?
The One Punch Man movie.
What's up?
The One Punch Man movie?
No.
Oh.
No. Avatar: The Last Airbender's coming to Netflix on May the 15th.
Oh yeah, totally.
You don't realize how excited I can. All right, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything.
Yeah,
this is Star Wars.
Yeah, sneak peek for
crap.
Academy this week. But
yeah, so by that time I'll be out of school, which means I'll have all the time to binge watch that
Lucky,
crap.
I have like 2 more weeks left.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too.
That's whatever.
You will also.
Oh yeah, by May 15th. I thought you were. Never mind.
We'll get there eventually, kids. We'll get there eventually.
All right, I'm out.
All right, thank you, Levi.
Have a fun time.
We will, sir.
Going to make pizza.
Nice.
Oh, that's what I'm all over here about.
See you, Levi.
Joel, your thoughts on the episode?
Well, like I was saying with everybody else's comments, I cannot say enough how much I was just so invested in that episode, and I was sucked in with all of the drama, the battle sequences and everything. And like you were saying with the combat, the whole Ray Park thing, it was so awesome. And on top of that, the voice actor, what's his name?
Sam Witwer.
Yeah, Sam Witwer.
Thank you. Was just golden whenever he was doing it. All of the stuff with Ahsoka in, I'll call it the sewer, if you will, just down in that one area whenever they had captured. Well, not captured per se, but kind of intercepted.
When they had her
Ahsoka.
cornered, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just so good. And I also said earlier how much I was just cheering for Darth Maul the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually want him to win. I want Ahsoka to join him. And then whenever Ahsoka was like, he'd never do that, I was like, ugh, my heart.
Honey, you don't know.
Right. And then I was like, dang, they didn't team up all because she thought he was better than he was. Sad.
Yeah, and I love that they kind of tee that up earlier in the episode, like the scene where they're talking to Obi-Wan via hologram, where she has the same reaction that Anakin has to the whole spying on Palpatine thing, where she looks at Obi-Wan, she's like, "You got to be fucking kidding."
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna make him do that? That's absurd. How can you do that to him? And
I also love when he said what is it? Obi-Wan says the council isn't always right, and I kind of took that as a sort of, yeah, we kind of screwed up with you with casting you out of the order.
It's like it took you that long to figure things out. You know,
You don't say, Obi-Wan.
Somewhere up there, you're Qui-Gon.
Oh yeah, Qui-Gon's just screaming.
About Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon is just screaming in Force Heaven right now. like just every time somebody turns around and does something in these last couple episodes, like I just see him doing the very Travis style, just like screaming into the pillow. like that's what I see Qui-Gon doing. Is just like every time. Where like Anakin kills Dooku, just cut to Qui-Gon, just fuck, no, damn it.
Well, there goes our uses of that word for the episode.
Levi's gone, so we have unlimited fucks. I felt Joel roll his eyes when I said that. I felt it in the Force. I felt Joel.
I definitely rolled my eyes.
I felt you do that. So before we, Joel, is that all you have for your just thoughts before?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Mike, I want you to give your thoughts, and then since you don't know about it, I am going to melt your goddamn brain. So, speak.
I'm excited. All right. All right. So when the Republic started, like,
ooh,
Mike, yeah. Oh boy, you're really breaking up.
Yeah.
From Mandalore, I just also.
Michael.
You're right. I'm gonna
foresight of what's going to happen. I think I could only fight for Mandalore in this because they're clones and Imperial simps.
Imperial.
I'd have to fight for Mandalore. It hurt me a lot to see these good members, these good men who are fighting for their home, just trying to defend themselves, just dying. And I hated that damn bastard, that prime minister dude. I wanted him to just die. I'm kind of glad he did, though. But it broke my heart seeing those men fall because they make great rebels,
You're right. They would have made good rebels.
It's like in I can't even remember what story it was. It reminded me of like with Dash Jenner from the old. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. This Jedi Knight who fighting these little like lizard-looking dinosaur people, like these Sauron. And he literally joins that series. I'm like, and it reminded me of that, and it broke my heart seeing. But anyway, from seeing Maul, my favorite scene of beginning when like 3 episode 1.
Here, Mike, if you want
I was very pleased with that.
Stop for just 1 sec. I'm going to stop the recording.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah, but
So
yes.
Take it away, Mike. Sorry.
You're good. I also love the Darth Maul fight. My favorite scene, honestly, was whenever Maul ignited his lightsaber because of that. I love that episode 1 moment. I think that was the coolest thing of all time. And I love that, like, I thought it was really fascinating, and I thought it was brilliant that they made this coincide completely with episode 3. I thought that was wonderful. That was very exciting, more riveting, more engaging. You're like, oh shit, like, you know, shit's about to get real really fast. I was waiting for Order 66 to happen the whole time, and I was really frightened the entire time.
Yeah, I think there's something really interesting with like the narrative direction, that like the structure of a story. You'd think that not knowing what's coming is what's going to make us scared, but we know exactly what's coming. So
it just makes it works very well for this.
Like, we know what's coming, but we don't know what's going to happen with the Siege of Mandalore. That's what makes it scary.
Well, isn't it that like the Empire wiped them all out? Like they totally massacred them.
I mean, generally speaking,
they alluded to that in the Mandalorian itself.
Yeah, at some point, I think
that might be more so just after Rebels than after.
Yeah, because like the Mandalorians are going somewhat strong in Rebels.
Because in the Siege of because after the Siege of Mandalore, Bo-Katan in Rebels says that she was made regent of Mandalore before the Empire came in and basically said fuck all to that, and basically made Mandalore a imperial tributary state before Bo-Katan was given the Darksaber by Sabine Wren and was made leader of Mandalore and probably tried to take over. Retake Mandalore before the Empire probably stamped it out again, a la this is why we have Mandalorian and the Great Purge and everything.
Yeah, so between Rebels and the Mandalorian, there is going to be some type of atrocity committed against Mandalore.
Yeah.
And its people.
All right. I need to get more aware of Rebels. I'm an idiot in that. I need
to a degree. I need to just rewatch it.
Oh, Mike, you'll like it. I mean, the first season is a little bit more on the kid side, but it very
it's
much
still
in the same
not
way
bad.
It's not bad in the way that Clone Wars did. Like, it very much grows up with its audience.
Yep.
Like,
I see. Okay, that sounds neat. I like that.
Yeah, in the same way that like Clone Wars got progressively more adult, so too does Rebels.
That's about it.
But what you were saying, Mike, and I'm so glad that your favorite part was the very beginning of the fight, because that is the moment I wanted to talk about.
Oh, God.
Joel did also have to leave, so I will be doing the plugging for him and Levi at the end. We were a little pressed for time this week, unfortunately. But so right as Maul ignites his lightsaber, he flourishes it, and then he lunges at Ahsoka.
Uh-huh.
Go back and listen very carefully, because right before their blades make contact, you hear Darth Sidious's Force scream.
Really?
Yeah.
Sidious? Wait, you mean like when he screams power?
No, like when whenever he lunges at Windu.
Oh.
Yeah, like the
I might have heard that, but I don't think I was aware of it.
No, I heard it.
Does that mean that those two fights were coinciding?
Yes, I think that's what they're supposed to be going at. I mean, that or like
God.
I think there's like two ways of looking at it. I think you can read it as I think that all depends on like I can't believe we're saying this. That all depends on when Order 66 happens in the next episode, because there's no way it doesn't.
Right.
At this rate. So either that Force scream was like the Force kind of like warning the viewer that like everything is about to go to hell, or that was the show's way of telling us, and right now Mace Windu is fighting the Emperor and the Jedi have like 30 minutes to live.
30 minutes to live.
You know,
oh my God! I didn't even realize that. Yes, thank you. Oh Jesus! Oh God! Oh my God!
And that's the thing is like the moment Obi-Wan's like Anakin killed Count Dooku and I'm about to leave for Utapau to hunt down General Grievous. Like, okay, the Jedi Order has hours to live now, and none of them know. None of them know. And that for me is my favorite part of this episode is the fact that, like, you know, Maul is kind of made to seem like this. I mean, to the viewer who knows what's happening, at the very least, is that he's like this mad prophet.
Yeah.
That he's trying to tell everybody like the end is nigh. And I think that like Maul still holding, and Maul, he wants to stop Sidious, and that is the thing that is like that is such a great moment for him. Where, like, Mike, you were talking about like the moral ambiguity that is leaked into most stories today. I think that is a great example of it. Where like Maul essentially is on the right side of history. For the wrong reasons. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I don't want Sidious to take over. I fucking hate him. I want to take over. But like...
But did he want to take over, though? Because he just said, like, this is all going to be chaos where I can only benefit from the chaos that this is going to...
I think that the way he looks at it, his only options here are all holy hell breaks loose, Sidious plans work, and all I can do is reap the benefits of a galaxy left in chaos during the early years of the Empire. Or, which is kind of like his plan B. I think his plan A is he takes out Sidious. I think just because there's no way he can stop Order 66. Like, at this point, the Jedi are going to get wiped out.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping that. At this point, thousands of Jedi are already dead and they don't know it.
Yep.
But I think Maul looks at it as, okay, well, the Jedi are going to get massacred. And that's one thing I don't have to worry about now. And I can just kind of do what I need to do and get into place. And, you know, like, I can kill Sidious with this Ahsoka, and we'll call it a day. And I take over. I think that's what he wants to do. I also love, and and we've done a whole lot of talking about this, and I really wish Levi were still here for this leg of the conversation. Talking about the calm Maul versus like foaming at the mouth Maul that we see when he first shows up in first shows up in Clone Wars. When we see him just psychotically just Kenobi.
Yeah,
Kenobi. That's his
only motivation.
I love that, like, this little bait and switch, and I don't see people talking about that I'm surprised that people aren't talking about this more, is that, like, whenever Ahsoka first shows up, he's like, I was expecting Kenobi. Where, like, at first everybody went, well, yeah, of course you were. Because you just want Obi-Wan. But, like, as this episode goes on, you're like,
oh my God.
This wasn't him wanting to kill Obi-Wan. This was him recognizing that if Obi-Wan comes, he's going to bring Anakin. And
it's amazing how much he's developed so that he can see past his hatred. Almost, he's kind of acting like a Jedi in some ways, I guess.
Oh my God!
He's much more disciplined.
It's a very macabre version.
He's a dark Jedi, in that sense, like philosophically, Mike.
I mean,
no. Just like the way Mike framed it.
I know what you're getting at. My only hang up with that is that I think he is still. We're not at the point yet. I don't think he is at the point as a character where, like, when we see him in Rebels, where they go Darth Maul and he says just Maul. No, he's like no longer Darth, just Maul. Where, like, he corrects them and he says he's like, I am not a Sith. When he makes that distinction, I don't think he's there yet. I think he is still rooted in the Sith ideology as it stands. But then that's a hair splitting talk about, like, character philosophy, which is fun, but not something we have time for today. But I just think it is so fascinating that, like, Maul recognized, like, Anakin Skywalker is the key to everything, and that
Skywalker is the key to all this.
Yeah, and I there's a part of me as somebody who's, you know, for a very long time their favorite character, and only recently has been, you know, just by a hair bumped to second place by Ben Solo. But, like, that moment where I was like, is it better for the galaxy if Darth Maul killed Anakin?
Oh God!
And
Dude, I know that's.
And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, well, And in my mind, I'm trying to reconcile, like, okay, like, does Anakin have to die? Like, can Anakin just go to Mandalore and, like, just get him away from Palpatine? Just get him away from Coruscant, and that's all you have to do. But is that enough?
What I'm also curious about is how does Maul know about the grand plan? I've missed a lot of the Clone Wars, so how does he know about it?
I think because of people have been saying probably because of him being Sidious's apprentice, but I kind of don't see that. I think it's
because
more so,
he was always an ignorant kind of. He was always like, "I'm going from the Jedi Temple to the ground."
Yeah,
That's
I'll
what
have
he
to
was,
read
but
Son of Dathomir.
He also, but for him to have those ideations, he has to be in the know.
Yeah.
Like there's no way for him to actually serve Sidious well without knowing the objective is to infiltrate.
I disagree. I think it just shows the master manipulator that Sidious was, that he could just kind of let people assume that they know, kind of like the Jedi.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that, like, I think, and Maul even says, he's like, I wasn't aware of the scope of his plan. But Maul knows that the end. Yeah. But Maul knows that and whenever Maul first shows up, he's like, the war's begun. He knew that a huge part of this plan was we have to start a war.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, Maul, maybe he didn't know the scope of the whole plan, but he knew the very basic beats of a war will start. It will turn the galaxy against the Jedi. We will systematically eliminate the Jedi. Sith Imperial rule. And I think that Maul is like, whenever he comes back into the galaxy, he goes, "Oh my God, the war started." And he says, he's like, "Well, the war started without me." And
oh, damn it!
Yeah, God, I missed the war. I slept in.
Oh.
I just wonder if did he know that Palpatine was Sidious?
Yes, he absolutely knew.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
Well, I mean, if Dooku knew, then Maul knew.
Yeah.
Like, and then there comes a point where, like, yeah, people have more information. More information makes people more dangerous. But that's, and again, I think those are one of those reasons why Palpatine had Anakin kill him.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta tie up loose ends. I think that's why Sidious wanted Maul captured or killed.
Yeah.
He was like, you know way too much to be floating around out here.
Right.
And I also like the fact that, like, I don't know if it's because Maul wants to see some of the carnage happen because, like, an enemy of my enemy type mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if it's because he does not want to offer up the amazing bargaining chip it is that he hasn't confessed. He hasn't said Darth Sidious is the Chancellor. You know, like, he's holding on to that information. I think he's doing so deliberately, as I think I think he would have told Ahsoka once she joined it. But I think for him to just be like, "Oh, by the way, it's the Chancellor." At that point, Ahsoka is just leaving Mandalore. Like, she's like, "Oh, I gotta go. Fuck." Like, and then just get the hell out of there.
That'd be kind of hilarious if that happened.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny. But I think that there's just so much to unpack with Maul in this episode.
I know.
And it's so tragic. You know,
he's literally Sisyphus, as Freddie Prinze Jr. says.
Yes, he is. And
that never clicked for me until probably rewatching Twin Sons and then this episode. I was like, holy crap.
Well, and it's something that I think is very fascinating with, you know, especially post sequel trilogy and the way that Disney has handled a lot of these dark side characters, that all of them have become far more tragic in retrospect now. And I think that's very interesting because Star Wars, you know, again, talking about, like, the black and white morality, you know, Star Wars is more, for the most part, its villains are just villains. They're the bad guy. And that's all that a lot of who they are is. You know, Darth Maul is just this bloodthirsty hound for the Sith. And Dooku was this mustache-twirling villain. And Vader was the only one who really had this sense who had this sense of, like, oh, this isn't the life that you wanted, but the life that you ultimately chose, and you did the right thing, or you did the wrong thing for the right reasons. And that's the nature of Vader's story, and he's the one who has all this depth. But flash forward to today, Vader has only become more and more complex with time. You have Kylo Ren and his whole arc. You have the idea that Dooku was just kind of this wayward youth in the Jedi who like didn't know how to square coming from this incredible privilege that his family was and learning to come to terms with this very strained family relationship that he has, and the way that brought him to leaving the Order because he was just disaffected. He was just disaffected youth. That's how a lot of people in the real world become involved in horrible, horrible groups and horrible, horrible ideologies, is that like the thing that they put all their stock in kind of failed them. Yep. And that's how you get Darth Tyrannus. And you have with Darth Maul, you have this guy who was taken as a child, who was brainwashed by Sidious, who is, at this point, all he has is this sinister ideology. That's all he has left in his life.
Honestly, you could write a paper on
I'm planning on
Maul's philosophy.
I'm planning. I want to talk about like how Star Wars villains have become far more complex than they ever were in the past.
I know. No, agreed.
And
I wholeheartedly agree.
Again, I am stunned by the fact that Darth Maul has become this sympathetic character.
I know. I'm not really surprised because the first time I ever felt bad for Maul was when he was begging for his life on Mandalore when Palpatine was electrocuting him, and specifically when he says, "Please have mercy." I got choked up. I was like, "Holy crap!" Like this character goes from some one-dimensional dude that has a cool saber and horns and shit to one of the most tragic characters we've ever seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that he's comically evil. Crap. He looks like fucking Satan.
Yeah. But he's not.
But and it's a lot to unpack, and I am very curious for how this next episode plays out.
Dude, I know. I thought he was going to get away.
No, but there was one shot in one of the trailers that shows Darth Maul like cornered by a bunch of clone troopers.
And him, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, it's like him on board a Republic cruiser, cornered by a bunch of clones. And he's like throwing like piece of a door at them with the Force. So that's where that's going to be coming from. And I forgot about that shot too until he got captured. I was like, oh, that makes sense now.
And it makes you wonder how he's going to get out of there.
I think amid the chaos of Order 66.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
What did you say?
I think amid the chaos of Order 66, he's going to get out. That's like, I think, practically telegraphed at this point.
Yeah. It'd be kind of funny if he stayed on as like one of the. I mean, I don't know. Palpatine wouldn't do it, or maybe he. I don't know. Nah.
Wait, what?
Like if he had become one of the Sith Inquisitors.
Oh, dude, Maul's an Inquisitor. Oh my god, that would be so dope.
That'd be interesting.
I think Sidious would have taken
maybe
him back.
Palpatine wouldn't, or he would keep him on. I don't know.
I think Sidious would, especially because like if you keeping. The closer you keep Maul, the less dangerous he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a dog on a leash.
But yeah, an absolutely amazing episode. I had a lot of fun talking about it with you guys.
I think just a few other things I just want to add.
I'm sorry.
I absolutely loved that they didn't even go into a recap of the previous episode. They were just like, screw it. We're not screwing around. We're just going to go
We know
straight
you watched.
into it.
We know you watched.
Yeah, we know you watch. Like, don't screw with us. The one line that I'm going to try and use a lot is, especially if I forget people's names or whatnot, is I can't say yours is a name familiar to me. Oh, I'm so using that. I need to like write down a lot of Star Wars quotes that I want to use in everyday life so I don't forget them. This is just a testament to Sam Witwer personifying Maul, because I love when Maul says Darth Sidious, but before he finishes it, he like gasps.
Oh,
And it's just that sort of like
because he's traumatized. He
PTSD
doesn't even want to.
flashback.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't even want to say his name.
Like that got me. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that was neat. Darth Sidious.
I was like, oh my god, okay. Let's see. Oh, it was also cool seeing like this is just a minor detail, but like the sort of undermeshing that clones wear under their armor. That was cool to see. I thought. Also cool to see a younger Dryden Voss.
Yeah, for as briefly as we saw him.
Dude, I loved how this episode is like so jammed-packed with stuff. It's so this is definitely
ready for later. Yeah.
This is probably a top 10 or top 5 episode for me. I don't know. I'll have to look at it in retrospect once it's all over and the hype sort of dies down.
How many episodes are left again?
2.
2.
2. Okay.
So next week we get an episode on Friday, and then the final episode is coming out on Monday, May the 4th.
I don't know if this might have been intentional on Filoni's part, but the way the battle was structured between the clones and Mandalorians, it kind of reminded me of the Battle of Megiddo that we see like very shortly in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah, because
like,
they're all like on that giant like.
Yeah, like I was like,
bridge,
that's
yeah.
definitely intentional.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you talk about callbacks to the other movies. The fact that we're 2 episodes in a row,
and not even that. I was just thinking like Order 66. Like,
yeah,
in the back of my head, because of that, like because of how that battle was framed, I was like, the Order 66 is probably going to happen here. But like that was the only time where I thought about Order 66.
I did not stop thinking about it the whole time. Mike, I was
not
it's
thinking
gonna happen
it.
any minute.
Never occurred to me until then, and then even after then, it just disappeared because I was so invested in just Ahsoka and Maul and their dynamic and everything else that it just wiped. It was what basically Order 66 was probably wiped clean from my memory until I finished the episode, and I was like, oh, holy crap. Also, the one shot that is practically Star Wars porn was when the glass shatters and then it goes to that like sort of slow-mo shot.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Oh my god. Oh, that is
I gotta say before we do wrap up that like I am so glad that we are 2 episodes in a row of Clone Wars with the very heavy Last Jedi parallels. Makes me very happy. Between Anakin pulling a Luke on Crate in the last episode, and then Maul doing his version of "You need to join me and bring a new order to the galaxy."
I know. And then friggin' Ahsoka doing the opposite of Rey.
Yeah.
That was dude. Also, frickin' Maul screaming at the end. I just was like, I can't blame this guy. I can't blame him at all after all the shit he's been through.
Hearing Maul, of all people, say the words "let me die" is haunting and something that I am not going to get over anytime soon.
You're going to ban! You're all going to ban! You don't know what you're doing! I was like, oh my god, okay. Stop making me care for him.
It was like a dark Jesus cross, like forgive them, they know not what they do. That it's always through ignorance.
Yeah.
It's always through ignorance. Something about ignorance just
very
important.
And then that's the sad thing though, for like all of the people involved is like they have no way of knowing.
Right.
You know, like it's not like they are actively being shit people. You know, they don't know. And how could they know? How psychotic would you have to be to predict that?
I just want to say, like, one thing I love but also hate in just not only in Star Wars but in other media in general is finding out how freaking close they were to figuring out that he was Sidious. I love it, but I just hate it at the same time. I absolutely hate it. Like, it infuriates me, and I think that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like all you needed to say, literally all Maul needed to say to Ahsoka was just one more word, and that's Palpatine, and that is it. The entire fate of the galaxy has changed right there. I think.
I also do want to say, and I feel like I gave Maul a little bit too much credit earlier with the whole like he's shifted his gaze from like stopping from killing Obi-Wan out of revenge to stopping Sidious. I also like the idea that like part of his motivation for wanting to off Anakin is this sense of like I'm way better than you. And like this idea that like Anakin is, or that Maul is spiteful towards Anakin because he sees Anakin as the man who took his place.
Yeah.
And like now that Dooku's gone, he's like he's sympathetic. He even says he's like Dooku and I, the same thing was done to us.
We were tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. I don't know. I just loved how Maul's motivations and just him wanting to help Ahsoka and just like everyone take down Sidious like seem noble on the surface, but when you look in more deeper into them, it's like this guy wants the power or he just wants to revel in the carnage of it all.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting.
Yeah, and like I think that's all we have for this week on this episode. Real quick, a little bit of housekeeping before we get to the end here. The way we are going to be handling the end of the Clone Wars is next week we will be reviewing the next to last episode. And then business as usual, the week after we will be doing a review of the final episode. And then the week after that, we are going to review the season as a whole. So that is how we're going to do it, like the next 3 weeks, so you guys understand how the shows are going to shape up. For the season review, we are going to be joined by Laura and Alice of Force Toast for the season review. Very excited for that. And before we wrap up, we have patron shout-outs to do because we now have a $10 patron other than myself. The Waffle Wizard, our good buddy Matt, who also helped us with the setting up of the Discord. Thank you so much for your support and for listening every week, buddy. We appreciate it greatly and love you, you amazing, magnificent bastard. Mike, where can the lovely people find you?
Find me on DarthId415 on Twitter.
And find Mike lamenting his current state of hair on Miker Derling on Instagram.
Oh, that's right.
I just love like the every couple days you just posting about how out of control your hair is.
Yeah, that's funny.
Getting bad. I'm going to start looking like a damn hippie soon. But I don't know. Maybe it's the real me. Who knows?
I think it is, honestly. Connor, where can the lovely people find you, sir?
The lovely people can find me on Twitter at DepaBanana. They can find me on Instagram at ConmanJFO. And they can find me on Facebook, admin in the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics, a Facebook group where our entire mission, per se, is to just discuss Star Wars in a positive, constructive, and respectful light. So,
and we
that's where everyone can find me.
Excellent. You guys can find the Professor Levi Baum at Professor Levi on Twitter. You can find Joel on Instagram at JBasonback Photography, as well as his cosplay page, Bass and Bacon Cosplay. And I believe if you just look up Joel Basenback on Twitter, you'll find him there as well. You guys can find me at Dark Jedi 2552 on Twitter and Instagram. And be sure to check out the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Check out our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. And while you're on the website, if you're feeling generous, check out our Patreon. Chuck in a couple credits to help us keep the lights on around here. Very soon.
Yeah, the Empire's really getting to us.
Yeah, they're really draining us. Be sure if you do, we will be uploading it to our main podcast feed for you guys to check it out, so you guys can get a little taste for it. However, we will be uploading to our Patreon, and this will be patron-exclusive content for the most part, our first episode of the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series. And I am so happy that this episode of Clone Wars has retroactively made our first matchup so much more interesting. Because we are doing Revenge of the Sith Anakin versus Phantom Menace Darth Maul.
Oh man.
Which Spencer and I have been working on this for about a month. We'll be recording that very soon, and it will be going into your ear holes in the very near future. The way we're going to be treating the Versus series, so that you guys know, is that that will be patron content for the most part. However, in the event that we are not able to record some weeks, or if there's no news, and once Clone Wars wraps up, we're not going to have a reason to record every single week if there's no news. Especially with how difficult it is to record, given the current state of things, the technical difficulties that follow us like a goddamn plague. Some weeks it may just be easier for us to upload some bonus patron content. So anytime that there's not an episode that we can make happen, you guys will receive that patron content. As a way for us to be able to still bring you guys content, and B, so that you guys can get a taste for what the patron content is like. However, we will just be uploading the first episode of the Versus series on its own, so that if you guys are interested but are on the fence, you can listen to it, get a feel for it, and then make the decision. I have a really bad case of the hiccups, and I'm trying to talk through it. That hurt that time. And get a feel for whether or not you want to actually get that content as it releases. With that, we are honored that you all have joined us, and may the Force be with you always.